At this time, with Coach Butcher, his wife Rita, and the Butcher family, please come to the floor at center court. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Lagodi High School Superintendent Dr. Robert Green and Lagodi School Board President Mr. Ira Clark will present Rita with roses and Coach Butcher and the present team shirts, courtesy of Rosie's T-shirt shop in Lagodi.
Get me in the picture.
At this time, we would like to introduce former and current assistant coaches. Tim Nate, Mike Donahue, who is unable to attend. Charles Sims. Stephen Biggs. Mike Wagner. David Smith. Presenting now the 1970 Final Four team and student managers. Richie Marvin. Dennis Bauer, who is unable to attend this evening. Steve Beasley. Paul Bruner. Brian Canada. Bill Harbison. Mike Lannon. Dr. Bernie Nante. Dr. Rex Sager. Jim Trout, selected to the 1995 Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame Silver Anniversary Team. Tony Walton. Student managers, David Lett. John Olson, who is unable to attend this evening. Dan Holtz, who is unable to attend. Harry Prather, unable to attend due to coaching obligations at Franklin College. The 1970 Final Four team and student managers. Bill Butcher, selected to the 2000 Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame Silver Anniversary Team. Paul Hildebrand. Kenny Mattingly. Kenny Nick. Mark Riggins. David Strange. Paul Taylor. Mike Wagner, current assistant basketball coach. Mike Walls. Student managers, Rick Butcher. Gary Lentz. Jason Lockmiller. At this time, would all other players and student managers in attendance please come to the floor? At this time, Bar Reeve head coach Brian Hughes would like to make a presentation to Coach Jack Butcher, and he has also submitted the following remarks to be read at this time. Jack, Coach Hughes noticed in the Bar Reeve basketball booklet of records that in your 43 years of coaching, Bar Reeve basketball teams have been responsible for 39 wins of your record total. Perhaps it's only fitting that Bar Reeve should recognize your success since we've contributed so many wins to your record. And on behalf of the Bar Reeve basketball program, Coach Hughes would like to present this plaque of recognition, which states, presented to Jack Butcher in recognition of your achievement as Indiana's all-time winningest basketball coach. Congratulations, Jack. And as long as your wins are not found in basements around the state, you've established a record we feel will never be touched. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the Mayor of Lagodi, Mr. Brian Ader.
Mr. Butcher with a street sign. We have that. And also on behalf of the city, council, city of Lagodi, I'd like to present a key to the city. And on this says success is not a matter of desire, but the product of hard work. And that is from Jack Barringer. In recognition of the 43 years of successful coaching and being Indiana's all-time winningest coach, Jack Butcher, you hereby presented a key to the city of Lagodi. January 15th, presented by myself, Mayor Brian Ader.
Ladies and gentlemen, your state representative, Mr. Dave Crooks.
Well, I'm happy to be a part of tonight's special presentation, and I've got a special message from the governor of the state of Indiana, Frank O'Bannon. First of all, Jack, today is a special day not only for the citizens of Lagodi, but for the entire state of Indiana, as Governor O'Bannon has proclaimed you a Sagamore of the Wabash, the state's highest honor. If I can read the message from the governor. Dear Mr. Butcher, as Governor of Indiana, I am honored to appoint you a Sagamore of the Wabash and to express the appreciation of all Hoosiers for your commitment to making Indiana a better place to live and raise a family and play basketball. As proof of this dedication, please accept this document that proclaims you a Sagamore of the Wabash. Now, the term Sagamore of the Wabash was used by northeastern United States Native Americans to describe a lesser chief or another great person among the tribe to whom the chief would look to for wisdom and advice. You, Jack, certainly fit that description. You have distinguished yourself by your humanity in living, your loyalty in friendship, your wisdom in counsel, and your inspiration in leadership. Thank you again, Jack, for the contributions you have made to your state. Indiana is better off today because of your dedication to it and your fellow Hoosiers. Sincerely, Frank O'Bannon, Governor of Indiana. And one additional note, we're going to invite Rita and Jack to make a trip to the Indiana General Assembly next week for not only the actual presentation of the signed award, but I've also drafted a resolution that will honor Jack in front of the members of the legislature. You'll have the opportunity to advise the legislature about the IHSAA as well.
We now present from the Indiana Basketball Coaches Association, Mr. George Griffith.
The Indiana Basketball Coaches Association has presented this to Coach Jack Butcher in grateful appreciation for a lifetime of service to basketball in Indiana, presented by the Indiana Basketball Coaches Association, January 15, 2000. And Jack, we left off a blank for the years and the blank for victories, because we'll let you fill that in when you get all done.
From the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, Mr. Roger Dickinson.
As I look around the floor here this evening and see all you Knicks players, I almost wonder if there's any male in Lagodi that isn't down here on the floor with you. But I know this is just a token of the people that Jack has touched in his many years here in Lagodi. It's not often that we have an opportunity of knowing a legend, but you folks are privileged enough to have a legend living in your community and has served this community and this school corporation so nobly for so many years. We congratulate Coach Butcher on his tremendous achievement and success. I have with me this evening Bill Ritter, an inductee to Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. He's going to present Coach Butcher with a large plaque that we think might be appropriate to hang up here on one of the walls. And on that plaque is not only his Honor Hall of Fame award sweater, but his picture, and also a bronze plaque that reads, Jack Butcher, winningest basketball coach in Indiana history, Lagodi High School, 1957-2000, presented by the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame.
Festivities this evening, Lagodi School Superintendent Dr. Robert Green and School Board President Ira Clark will present a trophy to Coach Butcher, a bust to Coach Butcher, and a crystal lion to Rita Butcher. The athletic department has a special presentation for Coach Butcher also. We also remind you there will be a reception honoring Coach Butcher in the high school cafeteria following tonight's game. Everyone is invited. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention and congratulations to Coach Jack Butcher.
attention, please? There's a lot of things that we're going to do here this evening, but I wanted to make one announcement. Coach Butcher, for all the former ball players, took one of his media guides, and he signed one for every player that played for him. So if you're in here and you played, do an alphabetical order. I'm not sure how we're going to do it. How do you want to do it? Don't rush me right now, but before you leave, we'll figure out how to get you your personally autographed. You said a few words in each one of them, so you all have one here. Kitty Pride.
But I would like to take the opportunity to thank the Hall of Fame, Roger Dickens, who has recently been appointed the executive director. I think that was really a positive move on their part. I think the Hall of Fame is moving in the right direction. And I'd also like to thank the Indiana Basketball Coaches Association. It's been an organization that has done a lot of positive things throughout Indiana, including scholarships and things of that nature. Bob Green, of course, and the Lagodi School Board and faculty and all the administration over the years have supported me tremendously, and without that support, of course, this would never have been able to happen. So I think I owe them a debt of gratitude. I want to thank the Mayor, Brian Ader, for presentation here this evening. And my family, of course, they stayed behind me all these years. And, you know, Rita, as we've said before, the wind beneath my wings doesn't really say it all. So thank you. Former players and fans, you know, somewhere along the line we began to realize that in 43 years, or during that time frame, we developed what we affectionately call the Lagodi basketball family. And here again, without that kind of support, without that kind of loyalty, this family could not have evolved. This excitement that we had this evening would have not been possible. And of course, the assistant coaches over the years, they were presented here this evening. You know, looking back, I don't think anyone could have had fewer coaches in 43 years' time. First of all, which means they have stayed by me and been very, very loyal to me. And certainly Dave and Mike, as you saw this evening, are good examples of that, and all the assistant coaches that we've had. We'll certainly owe them a debt of gratitude. Mary Walton and Farrell Armstrong, you know, they've been by my side for so many years. I think I said earlier that without the triumvirate, which I identified as Rita, Mary, and Farrell, I couldn't have done all of what I've done in these 43 years. And of course, Dan Armstrong, he's been a statistician for so many years, I really can't remember when he started. And I think he's wanted to quit for a long time. He just didn't want to give up before I did. So thanks, Dan. And a special thanks to Debbie Trulip for the decorations here this evening. She worked very hard and done a super job. And we've already thanked the fans and the news media. You know, I think they have done a very excellent job in a conscious effort to make this achievement memorable through their publications and through the TV and all the things that have been going on the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I guess that's all. Thanks a lot.
Well, of course, we all know who Junior is. Junior, you want to work your way up to the front? You didn't run off, did you? There you go. That's good. Actually, Bill Drake said he's the one to swear all the points. He just didn't time.
I don't know exactly what to say. First of all, I did decide if anybody wanted me to talk, I was going to say congratulations to Coach Butcher. How can anyone coach for 43 years at one school? I tried for 15 years. I said, I got to get out of this. This is a great occasion tonight, and it was a pleasure to fly up here from Florida. Cost me about $600 to get here. I asked a couple of guys I coach with down there, and I said, you think I'll go back? They said, well, I hope so. So I took a personal leave day yesterday, and I'll be heading back tomorrow. But anyway, it's a great reunion of a lot of guys here who have a lot of pride. The guys that played for Jack Butcher. God, I still remember '63 when the Hatchets beat us. I'll never forget that. Anyway, you people here that are fans don't realize how important you are to the game of basketball. I'm in Florida, and we probably have 400 people attend basketball. I don't coach basketball anymore down there, but I coach golf. But anyway, you don't realize until you go down to a place like Florida where there's no fans in the stands. Gymnasiums seat about 800 to 1,200, and you come back in this atmosphere here tonight, but the fans are really what make the game, and I think that's what helped Coach Butcher stay in it for all these years. And it was a pleasure. I can remember when I was about the 4th, 5th grade, I used to go over to Larkin department store. We didn't have television. And I'd sneak over there on Saturday, and they had a bench over there, and they had these TVs for sale, you know. And Mr. Larkin turned one of them on for me, and I'd watch college basketball in the afternoon. I'd stay over there all afternoon. So one day, Frank Larkin, he said, you gonna watch Jack Butcher today? I said, well, who's Jack Butcher? He said, well, he's a Lagodi guy. And of course, I was only about 4th or 5th grade. So he said, yeah, Memphis State's on today. And I said, oh, okay. So that's my introduction to Jack Butcher by Frank Larkin way back in 56 or 7, somewhere along in there. And the rest of it's history. I guess you don't know it, but Jack and I are only one day difference in birthdays, so we're both Virgos and we're both perfectionists. We hate to lose. And the winning percentage he's got, I can understand why he stayed in so long. So congratulations. It's great seeing all the former players here. What a nice reunion, and all the fans and everything. What a nice crowd, Jack. Your team looks great. And Bar Reef's tough, but both teams really well coached. Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, Jack, let me echo my congratulations to you and your career. Not knowing I was going to have this opportunity, I'll take it and focus on this one thing that he has said a couple of times recently that I want to reiterate and tell you how important it is to me. And that's the part about being a part of your basketball family. I was driving down here this evening with a friend of mine, and I was telling him all about the Lagodi tradition. He's from another town in southern Indiana, and he asked if I was nervous about what was coming, and I said, no, not really. I feel good, because when I go back to Lagodi, I go home. And I go home, not only to my mom and dad, but I come home to the program that I went through here with you. And anywhere I go in the state of Indiana, and I've met a lot of people in the school business and the job that I have, everybody knows Lagodi, everybody knows our basketball tradition, everybody knows you, Coach Butcher, everybody knows our Crest Award winner too, Jimmy, I was telling you that earlier. And I am so proud to be a part of that and that tradition. It is something that all of the basketball players who were standing around the floor tonight between games felt. I know we did. We're part of your basketball family, and I thank you for letting me be a part of that. Congratulations.
This is the third time that I've seen Lagodi play in the last 20 years. Jack, do you ever change your offense? Now, take that back. I've watched Hoosiers 5 times, so I've seen them play 8 times. The atmosphere tonight was deja vu. Those of you have heard people talk about the glory years. I guess they were glory years, but they were a lot of work. To the young guys, you need to understand that every game, every year is a glory year. Look at it that way. I guess what I remember most about and think and reflect on is what Jack mentioned here about people behind the scene. The starting 5 and the people that get the notoriety are kind of like an iceberg. They're the white peak that everyone sees. But underneath that's a big mass of ice. And that's the subs on the bench and the parents of those subs, and the wife of the coach, and the assistant coaches, and the people down in the little 4th and 5th grade, the Lee Kavanaughs, Charlie Sims, Mr. Biggs, and a lot of other people. They're the people underneath there pushing up. Sometimes, well, anybody in here ever not been mad at this guy? Sometimes Rita was the only one underneath that iceberg. But those of you on the bench and the parents agonizing in the stands, you are just as much a part of this tradition. Our practice sessions used to be fierce. I have said and told other people the years that I've been around, and I still believe this, our kids on the bench, I think, could win 12 to 15 games somewhere else. And there was a competitiveness in the practice that was unreal at times. when they made life so miserable for those starters that the starters were ready to kill them after practice. They put in their mind before the practice that Brian Canada or Trout, we didn't have to say Sager, he couldn't score anyway. They were not going to score in this practice, or they were not going to get any rebounds this practice, or they were going to shut them down. The little Timmy Dance of the world were so vicious and menaced. And they went out there with that attitude to just shut down the so-called varsity. Their practices oftentimes during the week were much tougher than a game, and I think Jack would probably agree with that. And so those were the kids that were pushing that white peak up out of the water. And their parents sitting in the stands agonizing that their son wasn't that big of a star. We coaches appreciated the agony that you're going through, and having children that play, and Jack having children that play can appreciate that too. And so you are a big part of that. The cheerleaders and everyone behind the scene that pushes the little white peak bigger and bigger out of the water. Bar Reeve has a nice basketball club. Youngsters, if any of you are in here. I looked at the JV players this evening, and I looked at some of the varsity subs. And I don't say this in any disrespect, but if you're going to take Bar Reeve out of the tournament again, or if you're going to advance, or if LaGodia is still going to be this family and this program, I would like to see some skin off the knees. I didn't see any skin off knees. I didn't see any skin off elbows. I didn't see any black eyes. Now, for God's sakes, Monday, do not go out there and kill everybody. But what I'm saying is, you guys on the bench that are going to push this white iceberg higher, you better get a little scrappy. You better be diving for basketballs that are on that floor in the practice session so that the starters say, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? I watched Bar Reeve dive for a couple balls out of bounds that almost turned that game. And so those of you behind the scene who have been aggravated and discouraged and felt like you were overlooked, please know that you're not and that you haven't been. He can't always say thank you and an appreciation and go out of his way. He gets consumed most of the time with a bigger task. But you are appreciated. The older I get and the longer I coach, I appreciated the LaGodia attitude and the LaGodia people. I've been in programs with more talent, but never with more pride or guts than what the kids from LaGodia have been. So don't lose that. You can lose it if those of you on the bench don't push those starters. Don't go out there with the Timmy Dan attitude and just make life miserable for those starters. It's easier on your coaches, and it'll be easier on your fans. Congratulations, Coach. As you mentioned, a lot of people had a lot to do with it, and it's an honor well deserved. I don't think it will be matched in Indiana for several reasons. How many wives are going to let a guy coach up? How many communities are going to put up with a guy that long? It's like Cal Ripken. He's a baseball guy, Jack. He was an iron man. I had the good fortune, and I'll shut up here after a while, okay? I had the good fortune to do my student teaching under Howard Sharp at Gertzmeyer back in '64. Please do not be too critical of Howard. He was a very hard worker. He is old and a little senile, as all of us get. Some of us sooner than others. But I remember how organized and how hardworking he was. If you know Howard Sharp, you really cannot carry on a conversation with him. You listen to him, okay? But he had his records typed out. And it is where basically my inspiration was to start keeping track of records. Get the date and the score and so forth. And I thought, that is really neat. And he told me, if you're ever going to coach, he said, keep track of your own record. He said, nobody else will. Wrong. And when I came here, I started Rita and Farrell with Jack's record. He had coached 8 years. I found a mistake. His first year on the picture it said 12 and 11. And I was kind of afraid to tell Jack that it was 11 and 12. But I still have a fascination with records and things. And yours is amazing, Jack. It's unreal. Personally, I hope it's never matched. I hope it stands there. Indiana basketball is what it is now. The controversy, that's great. It was tiddlywinks. It had never even been in the paper. But look all that it stirred up. I know it's tough on the kids trying to get this record. But again, don't be too hard on Sharpie. He's just an old competitor. No different than you, Jack. He just can't let go. Just can't let go. I know he felt like we played podunk, and I got an article I want to send you that our sports writer wrote about that. But I think we played him a couple times, and did we win or not? 4 times. Did we win any of them? I'll be diggered. He told me, I kept notes, and I still have the notebook at home. He said, you can keep all the notes you want, but if you ever play me, you'll never beat me. And I think I helped, with those. Sharpie is in our Baseball Hall of Fame. He listed 600 wins. There's no way. He used to run a T-ball program in the summer, and I But we didn't challenge it because our winner has a little over 1,000, Jack. Anyway, it's good being back. And I appreciate the hugs and the handshakes and the smiles and the pats on the back. I feel a part. Thank you.
I've heard my name mentioned here 2 or 3 times tonight. What's the matter with this thing, Larry? You don't want to listen to me? Don't take that far. I was just one of them little short guys, and I wasn't mean. I was the nicest guy that's ever played the game of basketball in Lagodi. If you don't believe me, ask all the guys that I played with. Ask the coaches. They're all lying to you. Hey, Lagodi has meant everything to me. I've been to the majority of the games. I sit right behind the bench yet today. I love Lagodi basketball. But I love Lagodi basketball because of all of you people. It's all the people in Lagodi and away from Lagodi that still cares about the game of the basketball that makes the game. It's all the hysteria. You can talk it, we talk it at work, they hate us. I want that to continue.
Coach, I'd like to express my personal congratulations, and I hope you never get tired of hearing it, because I'm sure you'll hear it for a long time. I watched with great admiration for years from across town at the success of Lagodi basketball. St. John's never won a sectional, and we tried like hell, but just never quite got the job done. And my senior year, when I consolidated and come to Lagodi, I said, well, it looks good. Maybe I'll finally get a sectional under my belt. And of course, we didn't stop there, as you all know. It was a very exciting year. I feel like I'm at a disadvantage. I just have 1 year to talk about at Lagodi. And I stand back and listen to the stories from all the other former players, particularly the radio show Larry mentioned that Rex Seger spoke about the nights him and David Lett were in the gym late working out in Segerville, and how they'd lay on the floor and center court, just admire the pictures on the wall and just hope someday they could contribute. And I'm envious of that. But we were able to contribute that year in 1970, and as it's been said tonight, the fans are so important to this tradition. It meant so much to us to have y'all's support. And Jack, I hope you keep coaching for a long time. I'm like Tim, I hope your record never gets broken. Thank you.
Ray, were you on the first sectional team Coach Butcher won?
I was on the bench.
Well, he's on the team.
When I graduated, I went to the Air Force. And I had probably the toughest drill sergeant there ever was. And the Air Force plays a lot with your brain. They had a lot of problem finding mine. A lot of physical stuff and what have you, but I had a TI that was about the size of Jack. And every morning, he'd make me kneel down, he'd crawl up on my head with a flashlight and bang on top of my Jungle Jim hat they had down in Texas to get my attention. And he tried to break my spirit, and he tried to work me hard. And he couldn't understand why I just grinned at him. And one day he asked me, and I says, evidently you've never heard of Jack Butcher. I mean, it was old school. Jack helped my family a lot, him and his son Bill, back when my son was growing up, and when my son was having trouble in school. And I'll never forget Jack and his family, and I think we owe a lot to Jack and his family as far as the community of Lagodi. Jack, I think, has always been a quiet, prideful man outside the gym. Inside the gym is something else. Heard a lot of debate going on radio here about which is the best team, the 70 team or the 75 team. And I don't know where y'all been at, but I think I seen the best team was on the floor tonight. What do you think? And I echo what Coach Nante said. Everyone who put on the shoes and got on the floor was just as important to Jack as the starters was. We was all a team. You all knew you were a team. Yeah, we had some stars. We had those that scored the points, but we had people who set the blocks, played as a team, set the picks and everything like that. I wasn't the superstar. But the pride of Lagodi is that everyone out on that floor is part of that team. And it takes a special person to mold that out of a lot of people who would like to do their own things. I think I drove Jack crazy. I probably made him a nervous wreck when I played. I was my wife still can't explain what I am. But I think as I look among the room and I talk to some of my guys I played with, and they were truly great. Back when we played, it wasn't a legend yet. Jack Butcher was the great Memphis State star, and they hadn't won a sectional since he played ball for Lagodi, and he pulled some green kids that didn't even know how to play basketball on the court. Back then, we had two schools, and we had just enough he had to raid the physical aid class in freshman year to try to build a team. And myself, Gary Lamar, and Virgil Harper, he set us down and said, if you guys do what we want you to do here, you'll win a sectional time your seniors. Well, Fields, G, and all of us, they won when we were juniors. I was on the bench. Sort of a disciplinary problem, wasn't it, Jack?
I thought you did pretty good with that.
Well, I'm glad his Mary left. But you never, my whole career, and I've felt I've accomplished quite a bit, and I'm quite proud of what I've been able to do, but it all goes back to teamwork. Everywhere I've been, and I look back to the days here at Lagodi, and I want to thank all of you for letting me be part of your team. Thank you, Jack.
Vincent Purvey.
Okay. Coach?
I won't speak too long, but when I was coaching, last year was 85. We played Jack 4 times. I was fortunate enough to beat him 1 time on this floor, and that's kind of unusual. So after the game, Jack was very gracious as usual, but he said, I'd like to play you again. I said, I'm sure glad we're not playing you again. I was just wondering, Jack, if that the most wins is more important than that state championship trophy. Pretty tough decision, eh? Jack Butcher is a guy that's respected by every coach I've ever talked to. He does a great job. Maybe he doesn't change anything very often. Like someone mentioned, he knew how Jack was going to play. We played him the first time, they said, aren't you fearful of playing Jack? I said, well, he hadn't beat us yet. So, but what they do extremely well. It might not change things, but very much. But what they do extremely well. And I just want to congratulate Jack and all this Loogootee community who are really behind the team and responsible for a lot of success. Thank you.